What's up, guys? Welcome back to Inside the Lines, little early, spontaneous emergency press conference, I'd say, for Game 2. Want to get the early lines and want to have a therapeutic talk between me and Steven, who really just got absolutely burnt by Derek's A, B, all by half a point, assist, and or rebound. That hurt.
This is a lesson that I always tell myself. I tell everybody who works with me, is like you know, people tend to think that when, let's say I had Boston covering the spread, and you think you're such a genius because they win by 20. I was like, no, that's not good. You know, they won by way more than you thought they would. And then sometimes you have to appreciate when you're so close and so correct, but, you know, you end up being on the wrong side of the line, you know? So it's like, obviously it doesn't feel that way when you lose money and you go over 3, but when, Derek White should have had one more assist, rebound, or
so that's where I'm at. I'm looking at these stats and I'm looking at Derek White and Derek Jones. Like, dare I say I take them both again?
Yeah, I was tempted to do a replay, a very pick. I mean, Derek Jones, he took 9 shots. I can consider the best dunker in the league right now, and he got blocked on a dunk, which, you know, it was a good block, but still, you know, he hit his first 3. It was almost got a Derek White first basket, you know, bet, and he scored the first basket, I think, for Dallas. So yeah, and then that was Derek Jones, sorry, and Derek White, you know, he hit his over 2.5 points in the first quarter. Was, you know, he had one air ball 3, and I was like, that's the one that was, when I saw that air ball on a relatively open shot, I knew that was the one that was going to cost me. But then I was excited because, you know, Boston's up by 20-ish with 5 minutes to go, and they leave him and Tatum in the game. I was like, easy, you know, this is good. This is where he's going to get his extra assist to push the over, because I got it at 22.5 before the line had steamed up to 23.5, and he finished with 22, no extra assist. And then, you know, and it wasn't really close with PJ Washington. He had no assists, and he was playing pretty well offensively for most of the game. But he managed to get 1 assist late. You know, I needed a second. You're muted. You're muted.
I was sitting at a table with a bunch of the Sportsline guys after, with a few of the production guys. There was about like 16 of us, and I had convinced the entire table to take Derek White first basket, and we're all sitting there like really thought it was going to happen. But that gives me optimism that it's in the future. It would have been lame if it happened game 1. Okay, that's what I'm telling myself. We're still going to be on that every game. I'm going to be on that. Derek Jones, someone I could see myself going back to as well. Derek White too. These all seem like guys I like. Let's talk about some game 2 picks that we like. I saw you put Luka Doncic over 8.5 assists here. Now that's at plus money. What did he finish with last night?
1. So the good thing about just the game in general, I mean, you did a spot in HQ, and we were right on because we pointed out the 3-point depth of Boston.
That was going to say, that was the one thing we did nail.
I believe it was a final record with the most 7 players with multiple threes made. We pointed out that they have 8 players who can make multiple threes. And the shocking thing is Peyton Pritchard, who was like 0 for 5. They easily could have had all 8 hit those 2 threes. We projected 15 made threes, and they had 16. So it's like, you know, from that standpoint, and we said that Dallas wouldn't have a chance if they didn't have at least all 3 of their top 3 shooters hitting threes. That's Doncic, Irving, Washington, and then maybe they got a roll out of Tim Hardaway, which they did briefly. But anyway, so from the game perspective, we were right on. It would have been closer, obviously, if Dallas had shot it better than what our 20% from. So that leads me to why I like Luka over 8.5 assists at plus money, because I do think there's going to be a regression to the mean for Dallas overall. They're going to hit a few more threes. Kyrie was pretty open on his 5 misses. So I think that he's going to get more assists just from better shooting from Dallas. The model has just under 9 assists, which does reflect his downward production over the last month in the playoffs, where he's under 8 assists a game. But this would be 3 straight games under 8 if he does that. He hasn't done that since early January. And then he hasn't had 4 in 5 games since early November, since literally game 2 to game 6 of the season is when he last had a stretch of this few assists. So while I do think that Boston's a great defense, I do think that Luka's going to have to, you know, look for his own shot and probably average 40 on 50% shooting if Dallas wants to win the finals. I think that, Luka just doesn't have under 9 assists
3 games in a row. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Scott was asking about in the chat thoughts on Luka triple-double game 2, so I have to imagine we would like that.
No, it depends. It always depends on the odds. And Scott's been on this for a long time. He knows he has to tell me the number.
Scott's always on the Luka triple-double.
But I would think that his points and rebounds and minutes played, even if he seems to limp more after missed shots. I don't like that about Luka. Doesn't it seem like when his injury always seems to be nagging when when he misses, and it's not so bad when he makes a shot. But I think that the model would have value. Model doesn't have value on his PRA, but obviously he's going to score 10 plus points. We do like around a 45% chance of 10 plus rebounds and right around 45% chance of 10 plus assists. So I would think that, I think it's a
pricing game. Depends what the price is.
And maybe shop it around. I don't know. Maybe there could be some live opportunities there too.
Let's talk about, I like this play, talking about the guys we were saying between Kyrie, Luka, and PJ all need to be, shooting 40% or better from deep. Kyrie goes 0 for 5 from deep.
Yeah.
Last game. I like the volume. I'll say that. I like the volume.
And he hasn't, at least he didn't shoot very well against OKC. Had some off nights, but the Clippers, he shot great. And, and he's generally been bouncing back from bad performances in the playoffs. He has a lower road average than home, but still it's over the 2.7 made. It's over 50% on the road. So again, this qualifies as plus money on a below season average. It's not going to be for lack of trying. Eventually, he hasn't. I think he's lost to Boston 11 straight games now. That's gotta end.
Not be good.
Again, I this is just more of a hunch. I'm not a Kyrie fan, but I do think that
I do think 10, you can't suck that bad 2 games in a row. That's
3 for 9 seems to be in the works.
Yeah, I could get behind that. I have a feeling this won't be plus money for long, so I think it's good that we're getting this one out there in the universe right now.
We're going to be more explicit. The plus money picks that I have, the Luka and Kyrie, I don't think they're plus money on anywhere but the books I'm pointing out.
Okay, so definitely an act now on those guys to get the best value here. Derek White, this is actually pricier than I thought it would be. Over 1.5 blocks and steals. We're saying screw it to the PRA.
Yeah, well, it's not compared to his regular season, right? His season's over 2 and 34 and 12. So that's like 74%, 73.8, I think. 74% at home, over 1.5 blocks and steals. So it's kind of a lock. I did like the fact that he was on the court, in up 20. I thought he should have been credited with a block. They called a foul, or maybe it was a foul on someone else, and he got the block. I forget exactly, but. He had 1 steal only. But before that, he had 5 straight overs in blocks and steals with 11 blocks over 5 games. So he was going over 1.5 just on blocks alone. The great thing, unlike Minnesota, who had none of them could defend jump shots without running into the jump shooter. But Boston, you can see they're just obviously much better individual defenders and a coaching emphasis. You saw these guys stepping out, not only kind of blitzing the shooter, but jumping and using. Al Horford's like, hey, I'm 6'10". I can, if I raise my arm high in front of Luka's right hand, I have a shot at blocking him. And he blocked him. You saw multiple block shots on jump shots and without horrible foul trouble. You had guys with 3 fouls, Drew Holiday and White.
Who did have 3 fouls? Derek Lively.
Yeah, well, I do, and I like the fact that there was really minimal inside offense. So White should have plenty of shot blocking opportunities. The steals were, should be there like normal, and any guard who's prolific in blocks and steals have come in pretty hot, over 75% versus Dallas coming in 9-3.
Interesting. Dallas in my head isn't completely the team that you rack up your blocks and steals against, but I trust the numbers. I trust.
Yeah, they aren't, because usually it's teams that are scoring in the paint more, and but in this case with Boston specifically and their perimeter defense and the way they're coached and the way they're playing, They live by the three, so they have 8 3-point shooters. They die by defending the three, which can, in their case, unlike Minnesota, can actually be a block shot.
Right. Let's talk about someone who was a little quiet. Tatum last night. B-Mill's asking about his rebounds, line set at 9.5. It is plus money now after it not hitting, so could be a good buy low spot for him.
This is just one of those classic cases where my model is just won't listen to me. So it weights for different stats more, blah 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 blah. It weights recent performance and playoff stats more, and you would think that by now, after him pretty much being a lock for double-digit rebounds during the playoffs, he's only 3 games under 10. That the damn model would adjust, but it hasn't. So I'm still the model is still projecting Tatum at his, kind of more his, where am I looking at? His season average. Season average is 8.5. So the adjustment that it's made has only got him up to, it still has him in that range. So yeah, I think it's great if it's plus money.
I think it makes way too much sense. Like, why the hell would it be plus money after he hit 11 last game? Like, that to me is like you want to take it and Vegas wants you to take it, but it's not hitting. Like, why would it be plus money?
Because I think Dallas doesn't have, so Lively got into foul trouble. There's just not a lot of guys who can rebound on Dallas because Luka, he has too much responsibility already on offense, and then trying to run. They know they're not going to. They're going to not going to win.
It makes sense to me. It totally would.
So the same reason why we faded Dallas to start the season before they fix their rebounding issues could come into play if Game 1's any indicator, where they just don't have the rebounds. And Tatum, because he's not shooting great, he shot okay in Game 1, but because he's not and he wasn't super aggressive offensively, he definitely is. All the Celtics are definitely like, hey, we're going to do what we can do to win the game. And in this case, he's going to focus on the boards if that's where he's most effective.
Yeah.
I
agree. I think he should go over it, but I almost hate that it's plus money now because it seems like a trap. Like if it was minus 145, I'd honestly feel more comfortable taking it because that would make more sense in my head. But I don't know why it would be plus money.
I would definitely take it if I was based on just game flow and the specific matchups. The model is really based more on overall season numbers in this case.
Yeah, I'm looking at Derek White here. His over 2.5 threes was a really popular pick for Game 1. It looks like you can still find that at minus 190, but there are some 3.5s out there on major books, which is pretty crazy. But they're plus money. They're around plus 135. Do you think it'd be worth taking the heavy juice on a minus 190 before it's completely off the books?
At 2.5?
Yeah.
No, not at 2.5.
Yeah. But that might just be a stay away for the team.
Minus 190. So like the simple math I like to do is if the projector was 2.5, that'd be 50-50. At 2.8, that's barely like 10%, 15%, maybe you're around 65, 62% over, and then minus 190 is charging you, close to the 66%. So it would be negative there in terms of value.
Yeah, Pritchard went 0 for 5 from deep. My issue is I don't know if we'll get 15 minutes again like he did in Game 1. I'm trying to see what his.
We had him projected for 15 minutes. Yeah, he averages 11, shoots much better at home. So you got to figure, he's due. What's his line for threes? It's probably pretty.
It's not out. That's why I'm at least.
Some of the guys like the Jaden Hardys of the world, the peripheral guys aren't posted yet.
Jaden Hardy is out there at over half a three at minus 102.
Minus 102. So it was yesterday in Game 1. It was he scored well. He didn't hit a three, I don't think. Yeah, he hit one.
Wait, should we take that?
He seems to have the trust of the, so as we thought, Kleber didn't do much. Hardaway only came in when it was late and getting blown out. I don't even remember Josh Green. He played 20 minutes. But so Hardy seems to be the one that has the athleticism to at least keep up with the Celtics athletes.
Yeah.
And he's not shy. He's not shy away from his opportunity. I wish Jake was on because then he could tell us about Jaden Hardy's like career and life.
His high school.
He was 7 years old, whatever, when he first showed up at some camp somewhere. But he's on his way to
golf in Scotland.
Scotland,
Let's look at one more player prop that you like here, Mr. Kristaps Porzingis. You're gonna ride the train. You're gonna ride the heater here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling I don't want to get cocky on the Celtics overall but when Porzingis was acquired early in the trade, last year's offseason, we had the Celtics jumping from like 18 to 25% to win the championship. We were all over his positive impact, even though his reputation didn't necessarily, belie that. Is that the right word? Sounds good. 24.4 points, rebounds, assists we're projecting. And again, he didn't start, and I assumed they would stay with what worked, keep him coming off the bench. So I did make sure that he's a lock if he goes over. If he plays starter at 28 plus minutes, the over is 95.5%. That's like literally statistically significant. Scientists would use that. So, but when he plays fewer minutes, 21 to 27, which is what he should be in here, even if he comes off the bench with another few days off to heal, it's 11-4.
Okay.
So
this is automatic. This is definitely an act now. Also, I feel like the public is going to love the Porzingis play, so I would definitely.
Even though it's minus 140, you could go to minus 170, minus one, because he's an impossible matchup for most teams, but especially Dallas. The most effective defender on him was Luka picking his pocket when Porzingis actually tried to back him down. He got I think a couple steals that Luka did. But there's just no one who can match up with a guy that height, and he can drive around anybody who's remotely his height.
Real quick before we hit the recap screen, someone that we didn't really know how he wanted to attack until game 2 was Gafford. Played 14 minutes.
I mean, he's perfectly productive in 14 minutes, but I don't think he played the 3 previous games you mentioned. He was 2 in Washington and 1 in Dallas. It was 10 minutes, 6 minutes, and 6 minutes.
So do you think it's just more of a lively game?
You would think that
is that like direct correlation?
Well, it's neither of them. So because Lively was in foul trouble with 5 fouls, you would have in only 18 minutes, you would have thought that would have led to more minutes for Gafford but their minutes combined were well under the 48 minutes you have at the center spot. Yeah. So what we thought would happen is the prominence that those two played against Minnesota and their larger front court could be less of an impact against Boston, because you would just think that Lively's out, we need Gafford to fill in those minutes, but that wasn't the case. I think that Dallas is gonna have to try to match the threes, because you just can't. The Boston again. I'm mad at Minnesota as someone who picked Minnesota. That Boston didn't do it. They defended the lob, right? There were a couple times they got fouls. They fouled Lively, but when the ball went up there, they said, "Hey, why don't we have our tall guys stand in front of the guy who's going to dunk the ball and jump with his arms up?" And it magically worked, And in some cases, they may have fouled Lively, but he's not a great free throw shooter. So you get if you foul a couple alley oops and you get a tip ball, and all of a sudden those 6 dunks that Dallas was getting against Minnesota and their horrible defensive strategy and Rudy Gobert's inability to understand basic
all right.
size and heights and the impact when you're 7 feet tall and jump and you have your arms up. It's amazing what you can do defensively, Rudy.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. It's in the past. We're totally not bitter about it.
It's still real to me. It's still I'm still living it every day. The PTSD of a defensive player of the year doesn't know how to defend a lob.
The chat's talking a little bit about Lively here. We were on Lively over 1.5 assists. That didn't hit. Obviously, he had 5 fouls, so 14 minutes from 18 minutes from him. 2 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Do we see a regression up? Is he another Derek that we go back to?
I think that he'll get a lot of minutes if he doesn't get the foul trouble. I think that if Gafford had come in and filled in the minutes, if they had added up to 48, then I would have thought, okay, they're going to do the split. But they wanted Lively in there. They just couldn't keep him in there with his foul trouble. He was much more impactful in terms of rebounder and as a threat, as a lob threat. And so he's still, I think, the better matchup. And he's got probably better foot speed if he does have to go out and drift outside the perimeter against Porzingis.
So you think if you had to pick a lively play, would you go points or rebounds?
Rebounds.
Okay.
But it's probably what's his lineup to?
I can take a look.
I don't have my feet out.
His points is at 6.5. That seems really tempting.
Oh wow! So his points and rebounds and his not rebounds. Total rebounds is. I would go over 6.5 at plus money on his rebounds.
Okay, plus 130.
Again, they got it. Someone's got it. I know that they need his presence.
I will say, if you want a 5.5, FanDuel's and Fanatic are the two only major books really left with 5.5s at minus 160 and minus 155. And it seems like everyone's about to make their way to 6.5, and it's not going to be plus money anywhere. So little act now moment on Lively if you like the rebounds here. And I think I do as well. Yeah, that should be an interesting situation to see if he plays more minutes. I mean, obviously he should not foul out. That was out of control. Derek's are dead to me, except our Derek. He's great.
But yeah, I mean, you think about I just saw Gafford had no fouls and he played 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Lively got 5 fouls in 18 minutes. So clearly they want Lively to be the guy.
Yeah. Real quick, I guess we haven't addressed the spread or total since we're so prop driven, the two of us together. So maybe we should look at some value there. Do we have any value?
Yeah,
on
total? I did put out a live halftime Boston minus 16.5.
I did see that
cover, and it did cover. So I'm going to count that in my head at least. I see the lines ticking between 6.5 and 7. I would get it at 6.5. I would take 6.5. I mean, I just thought that the math equation is definitely in Boston's favor, and I just love the fact that they are defending the three. So, it's hard to imagine 48 minutes where Boston isn't controlling at least half of it. Mm-hmm. And when they're controlling, they just score so many more points. I mean, the floor for Boston's shooting is basically 12 for 40 from 3-point range, right? Mm-hmm. That's like the worst they're going to do as a team. And whereas Dallas's ceiling is probably 14 for 35, 14, because they just don't have enough
we nailed that to a T. Yeah. It's everything washes out. It's a 3-point competition. Celtics have more depth from deep. And if you don't have your quote unquote big three from Dallas playing that caliber, you have no shot.
And I would have thought the zigzag theory, if people felt optimism, if smart bettors and the influential bettors out there really thought Dallas had a shot, I would have thought the line would have moved from off 6.5 more to the 6 and 5.5 because just people think that there's a zigzag theory. But Boston, we got to remember if Steph Curry didn't get hot in the finals in 2022, Boston would have been like a minus 400 favorite to start the series. Mm-hmm. They'd be considered what they are, which is one of the most statistically dominant teams in history. And potentially could be the next great dynasty in the NBA, considering how young at their core is and how at their peak there are. I don't understand how they afford everybody. I thought there was a salary cap, but
nope, doesn't exist. All right, let's take a look at the 3 or 4 props that we like. Certainly, act nows. I'd say Luka and Kyrie. Both of these plus money plays are not plus money anywhere else. So get that on FanDuel while you can. Bet Rivers as well. Derek White over 1.5 blocks and steals. Again, this is just statistically a dominant situation for him and Porzingis. Both of these, I mean, people are going to catch on to these. So these are a little pricier, but definitely the cheapest they're going to be come Sunday. So 4 plays you certainly would want to act on now. Derek Lively, again, I think I'm going to hop on that as well on FanDuel, over 5.5 assists while it's still at 5.5. Before those, I'll jump to 6.5. So no other show today from us. But again, any questions you always have, let us know by Sunday. Steven, anything else you got? Any closing thoughts?
No, I'm tired.
Yeah, this is big for us Friday show.
Yeah,
But all right. Let's go enjoy
I
the
only work
weekend.
3 days a week, 20. I like 1 hour cap to the whole work week.
Yes.
It's sort of like my son's homework limit. There's only so much you can do.
This is a work smarter, not harder team. Okay.
Exactly.
This is about efficiency.
Yeah. Our company has a Friday off policy, I think, in the summers, and we're actually putting in overtime.
Yes, exactly. Company people here. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Good luck with your bets, and we will see you guys Monday.